All right, so today we're diving into a brand that you might not be familiar with, especially if you're here in the U.S. It's Pilgrim shoes.
Yeah, Pilgrim
And
shoes.
they've been making a name for themselves, really focusing on comfort and style,
Right.
especially with their women's shoes, which, as someone who appreciates both those things, I'm very intrigued.
Yeah, and what's interesting about Pilgrim shoes is that they've actually been around for a while. They just haven't had as much exposure here in the States.
Oh,
They got their start back in 1988, not in some fancy fashion capital, but like a small shoemaker shop in Eastern Europe.
okay, so already I'm getting the sense they're approaching things a little differently. It's
Exactly.
not just about like the trends, it's about the foundation, the quality.
Yeah, absolutely. They built up, they started small and then built up to a factory. They had over 200 employees before they even came to the US in 1997.
Wow, so they really had a strong foundation before they even made the jump over here.
Yeah, they're serious about what they do. They're serious about craftsmanship.
Okay, so I'm picturing, these like skilled artisans hand stitching leather. But
Yeah.
like is that the main thing that sets Pilgrim apart, or is there something more to like this comfort they're known for?
Well, it's definitely more than just, you know, skilled hands at work. They actually involve certified podorthists and podiatrists in their design process.
Okay, now for someone who might not know what a podorthus is, break that down for us.
Yeah, so a podorthist is basically a foot health specialist. They're trained to understand, the biomechanics of the foot. They can create custom orthotics, that kind of thing.
So they're not just making shoes that feel good, they're thinking about how the shoe impacts your whole body alignment.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's impressive. I don't think I've ever considered that when buying shoes before.
Right. It's a different level of thinking about footwear and it really shows up in the features of their shoes. Like, for example, they use these anatomically shaped footbeds, and they're removable too,
Oh, okay, smart.
which is great if you need to use your own custom orthotics.
Right, right. That makes a lot of sense. But does that mean that the shoes are like clunky? I feel like comfortable shoes sometimes have that reputation.
Yeah, no, they actually managed to avoid that. They use stretchable leather uppers, so the shoe really molds to your foot instead of the other way around.
Oh, okay.
Plus, they offer three different widths. They have a medium, a wide, and an extra wide.
Okay, so it's not just about like cramming every foot into the same mold. They're actually taking into account the variety.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense, especially for women's shoes, because
Right.
we go through a lot. Heels, pregnancy, just life in general.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where I think their focus on therapeutic features really comes in. They have a whole section dedicated to, diabetic and orthopedic needs.
Okay, so it's not just about everyday comfort. They're really considering people who have specific foot concerns.
Right. And each shoe is like reviewed and certified, so it's not just marketing, it's actually legit.
That's reassuring because I know if you have a specific foot issue, you don't want to be guessing, will this shoe work for me?
Exactly.
You want some sort of guarantee.
Right.
So can you give us an example of like a specific shoe that kind of embodies this?
Sure. So one of their popular styles is called the Marta, and it's designed to look like a regular, stylish women's casual shoe, but it has extra depth to accommodate custom orthotics, and it's made with like a premium leather.
Okay, now we're talking because, let's be honest, sometimes orthopedic shoes, well, they screen orthopedic shoes.
Right.
And if I can get the support I need without sacrificing style, I'm very interested. What's the secret here?
Well, it's partly the technology. Like that Marga has this shock absorbing tech that cushions every step, but it's also about challenging this assumption that comfort and style have to be separate.
Right.
They have boosts, sandals, they even have sliders, all built with the same focus on foot health.
Okay, so they're saying you can have it all, comfort, support, and style.
Yeah, they're making a pretty good case for it.
I have to admit, I'm a little skeptical, but I'm also very intrigued. So,
Yeah.
um, where do we go from here? What else can we learn about Pilgrim?
Well, I think it's time we dive into some of their specific styles and see if they really live up to the hype.
Okay, lead the way. I'm all ears, or I guess in this case, I'm all feet.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so let's talk styles. And remember, we're focusing on their women's shoes today.
Okay.
You mentioned boots earlier. So Pilgrim has this boot called the Anna, and it's got like this sleek European design. But, don't let that fool ya. It's still got all the orthopedic support.
Okay, see, that's what I'm talking about. A boot that doesn't make me choose
Right.
between looking good and feeling good.
Exactly.
I'm already picturing it with like a cute fall outfit.
Yeah.
But Not everyone's a boot person, so what else do they have?
Well, if you're looking for something more like laid back, they have this slider called the Hoopo,
Hmm.
and it's super easy to slip on, perfect for like running errands or, just lounging around the house.
Okay, but even with a casual style like that, they're not skimping on the comfort features.
No, they're not. That's the thing with Pilgrim. They really prioritize foot health no matter what the style is.
All right, sliders with support. I'm officially intrigued.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking warmer weather, sandals. Do they have sandals that fit this whole comfort meets style
Oh,
thing?
yeah. They've got you covered. They have a sandal called the Rejuve, and it has adjustable straps,
Okay.
which is great because you can customize the fit
Smush.
depending on, how your foot's feeling that day.
That's so true.
Yeah. And, especially for women, our feet can change so much
Right.
throughout the day or even month to month.
Sometimes I swear my shoe size fluctuates.
It happens, yeah.
Mhm.
And adjustable straps are a lifesaver, especially if you tend to, swell a bit in the heat.
Yes, 100%. But are these sandals like strictly functional,
Mm-hmm.
or do they have some style to them too?
No, well, they definitely have style. Pilgrim actually has a few different sandal options.
Oh.
So you can kind of find one that fits your personal style. They have this one called the Excite. It's a backless sandal. A little more sophisticated, perfect for dressing up a summer outfit.
Okay, see, this is what I was hoping for options.
Right, exactly.
It's like they understand that women want to feel confident and comfortable no matter the occasion.
Absolutely.
But before we get too carried away with like our imaginary shoe shopping spree, can you remind us like what kind of benefits someone might actually experience from wearing these shoes?
Of course. So first and foremost, you're going to get that enhanced arch support,
Right.
which is crucial for, proper alignment and preventing things like plantar fasciitis.
Yes, very important.
And they really prioritize pressure point relief, which honestly can be a game changer.
And those are things you might not even realize are impacting you until you experience a shoe that actually addresses them.
Exactly.
Like suddenly you're standing taller, your back doesn't ache.
Right.
It's almost like a whole body upgrade.
It can be, and they go beyond just the structure of the shoe, too. They use, like, breathable material so your feet don't get all sweaty and uncomfortable.
Oh, that's good.
And the soles have that shock-absorbing technology, so it's like cushions every step you take.
So it's comfort on like multiple levels.
Yeah.
It's like they're really thinking about every aspect of how the shoe interacts with your foot,
Absolutely.
your body as a whole.
Mm.
I'm curious, though, are there any downsides to this focus on comfort and support? Like, do they end up being super expensive?
That's a fair question. Pilgrim shoes are definitely an investment,
Okay.
but they're priced competitively, within the market for high-quality supportive footwear. And when you consider the long-term benefits for your foot health
Right.
and the fact that they don't sacrifice style,
Right.
it makes them a pretty compelling option.
That's a good point. I think a lot of people hesitate to spend money on good shoes
Yeah.
because they don't see it as like an investment in the same way as like a good mattress or a healthy diet. But when you think about how much we rely on our feet,
Yeah.
it makes sense to prioritize them.
Absolutely. Your feet are your foundation, literally.
Mm,
And taking care of them can have like a ripple effect on your
Oh.
overall health and well-being.
so true.
It's worth considering.
I'm totally on board with that. This whole conversation has really opened my eyes to like the importance of choosing the right footwear.
Good.
But I'm wondering, beyond just Pilgrim shoes,
Yeah.
are there like other key things we should keep in mind when making those choices?
That's a great question. There are definitely some key factors to consider when choosing any footwear,
Okay.
regardless of the brand.
All right, let's dive into those then. I'm ready to become a shoe shopping pro.
Okay, great.
All right, so we've talked about, good shoes being an investment, and Pilgrim seems to be checking off a lot of the boxes.
Yeah.
Let's zoom out a bit. If someone's listening and thinking, okay, I need new shoes, but where do I even start?
Yeah.
What's step one besides maybe, ditching those old worn out sneakers?
Well, I think the most fundamental thing is knowing your foot type.
Okay.
And it's not just about arch height, it's also, the width of your foot, your toe shape, even how you walk.
Oh, interesting.
All of those things impact what type of shoe is going to work best for you.
Right, because it's easy to think, oh, I'm a size 8, that's all that matters.
Right, exactly.
But there's so much more to it. Is this something you can figure out on your own, or do you need to like get a professional opinion?
There are at-home tests you can try, but honestly, seeing a podiatrist is really ideal,
Okay.
especially if you're already having, foot pain or issues.
Right.
They can give you personalized recommendations and also spot things you might not even realize are affecting your feet.
Okay, so consider it like a checkup, but for your feet.
Exactly.
But even if you're not at that point, knowing your foot type is like, it's like unlocking the secret code to shoe shopping.
It is. It really helps you narrow down the options to what's actually going to give you the support you need.
Okay, so once you've got that figured out, what's next?
Well, then you can start thinking about your lifestyle.
Okay.
Someone who's on their feet all day at work is going to need different features than someone who mostly sits at a desk.
Right. The shoe has to match your life, not just your outfit.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of which, we talked about comfort and support, but what about materials? Does that make a difference?
Oh, huge difference. Yeah, leather is a classic for a reason.
Right.
It's durable, it's breathable, but there are also some great synthetic materials out there now.
Okay.
If you have sensitive skin, you'll want to look for hypoallergenic options.
So it's not just about the look of the material, but like how it actually feels against your skin, how it breathes. It's
Exactly.
like picking out clothes, but for your feet.
Right. And don't forget the sole.
Oh, yeah, the sole.
That's what's between you and the ground.
It's important.
So it needs to provide cushioning, shock absorption, good traction.
Okay.
If you do a lot of high impact activities, you'll want a thicker sole. If flexibility is your priority, then a more flexible sole is key.
Okay, so it's a lot to balance.
It is.
Foot type, lifestyle, materials, soles.
Yeah.
No wonder shoe shopping can be so overwhelming.
It can be, but if you break it down into those key factors, it feels a little bit more manageable.
Right, it's about being an informed consumer.
Exactly.
And I think that kind of ties into something important, sustainability.
Yes.
We're seeing more brands, including Pilgrim, taking steps to be eco-friendly.
Yeah, which is great.
Because the fashion industry hasn't always had the best track record with that.
Right.
So it's encouraging to see companies making an effort.
Absolutely. And ultimately, it comes down to the individual shopper.
Right.
We have the power to choose brands that align with our values.
We vote with our wallets, so to speak.
Exactly.
And when you find a brand like Pilgrim that combines comfort, style, and a commitment to sustainability,
Yeah.
that's something worth supporting. All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
Before we wrap up, is there one final nugget of wisdom you want to leave our listeners with?
I would say don't underestimate the importance of fit.
Oh, fit.
It sounds obvious, but you'd be surprised how many people wear the wrong size shoes.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Which can lead to all sorts of problems down the line.
So it's easy to get attached to a certain number.
Right?
But our feet change over time, so regular measuring is a must.
Absolutely. And don't just rely on the size on the box.
Okay.
Try on multiple sizes, walk around the store, see how it feels.
Good advice.
It should be snug, but not tight, with room for your toes to wiggle.
Okay. I like that. Good advice. And I think that's a great note to end on. Pay attention to your feet, treat them well, and they'll carry you through life with style and comfort.
I love that. Well said.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Pilgrim shoes and beyond.
It's been a pleasure, yeah.
Until next time, happy shoe shopping, everyone.